The last Apollo mission landed on the Moon in 1972, and if all goes according to plan, NASA will be sending astronauts back there near the end of the next decade. Why has it taken us over 50 years to go back to the Moon? On July 21, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, the first humans to ever set foot on the Moon, stepped off the lunar lander module and began to reconnoiter on the Moon's surface. This mission, Apollo 11, would mark a turning point in human history and forever be remembered as the crowning moment of the space race. Between 1969 and 1972, 5 more Apollo missions would land astronauts on the surface of the Moon, each of which would conduct lunar science and experiments which included bringing back moon rocks for study. However, after the 6th mission that saw astronauts land on the lunar surface, Apollo 17, the program was discontinued. NASA needed to invest in a whole new breed of rockets and spacecraft. All of this hardware and an intense amount of training and technical expertise was necessary in order to send astronauts to the Moon. The investment would result in the creation of thousands of jobs, invaluable experience for the astronauts, engineers and support crews, numerous commercial applications and scientific advancements, and a cultural impact that is still being felt today. So why is it taking us so long to go back? The challenges were certainly great, but are they somehow beyond the current generation? The simple answer is no, but with some caveats. To answer the question effectively, we have to consider one salient aspect of the Apollo program that is often overlooked. Of course, it is impossible to put a price tag on the accomplishments of the Apollo program. However, it is possible to put a price tag on the Apollo program itself, and it has been done. According to the 1974 NASA authorization hearings, the Apollo missions cost U.S. taxpayers $25.4 billion, which adjusted for inflation works out to about $144 billion today. Meanwhile, actually sending them to the Moon cost over 6.5 times more than the previous 2 projects combined. Where did all this money go? Well, it went into the development of the rockets and spacecraft that were powerful enough to take astronauts and all of their equipment and supplies to the Moon in a single shot. This, and the amount of fuel required to do it, meant that the launch vehicles had to be very large and powerful, and therefore very expensive. And when the Apollo program was over, there was nothing lasting or reusable established between Earth and the Moon. No space stations, no refueling depots, and no lunar base, nothing that would allow for renewed missions to the Moon in the near future. In short, the Apollo program was not efficient, not by a long shot. But of course, it was not meant to be. For NASA, the entire purpose of the program was to get to the Moon as quickly as possible, not to mention beating the Russians to it. Speed was of the essence, not a slow and gradual build-up that would eventually lead to the lunar surface.